welcome to Americans Learn. My name is Lauren, and today I'm going to be watching another Lindsay Nikole video. I know I've been doing a lot of Lindsay Nikole and Casual Geographic videos and such lately, but I really do enjoy them. So today we are watching more animal stuff. This one is about zombie infections, and I think we're going to talk about cordyceps because The Last of Us is in the thumbnail. And I mean, I've definitely watched lots of videos about cordyceps and like this kind of thing before. So I'm interested to see what her take on it is and to see if I've learned anything new in this video. Because like I said, I know for a fact I have watched quite a few videos about this phenomenon. Like I had a friend with I've known about this being a real thing for a long time. Which is maybe one of the reasons why I enjoyed the original Last of Us so much, because I knew that it was something that was it was based on something real. So I don't know. Like I said, I've been aware of this phenomenon for a while, and I'm curious to see what else I don't know about it. So let us begin.
You've heard of The Last of Us, about
No.
an apocalyptic zombie world caused by the spread of a mutated fungus. You've probably also heard that it's based off a fungus that exists in the real world,
Yes.
called cordyceps. This is only one of many zombie infections that can raise hell throughout the animal kingdom and can
Great.
manipulate their hosts in ways completely unimagiable. I'm going to introduce you to some of it. I'll go over the classic cordyceps zombie
Cool.
fungus and
And
show
then
you
some new
others
ones?
that are just as, if not more, sinister.
Okay.
As always, let's get the general information out of the way. As you could probably guess, all the zombie infections on this list are considered parasites. They make their way into the bodies of the host and do with them as they please. But from there, they actually take it a step further, because they're able to manipulate the movements, appearance, behavior, etc. of their hosts as well, thus turning them into zombies, and earning them the title of manipulative parasites. They're parasites, and also manipulative, in order to go about their business in full. Absolutely bone-chilling. Manipulative parasites are found all throughout the natural world, the species of fungi, animals, viruses, bacteria, protozoans. I'm sure you can think of a few in your own world as well.
I mean, didn't our, what's his name? Robert Kennedy Jr. have a brain worm or something that made him weird? Was that what made him weird? Or was he weird before because he was a Kennedy? I don't know. Either way, brain worm.
If you're familiar with other videos on this channel, you might remember when I talked about the horsehair worms in the worm episode of What the Fuck Is This? They infect the bodies of crickets and other insects and manipulate them to seek out a body of water. Then they crawl out like little disgusting freaks. They are objectively disgusting. And I'm just gonna say now, if the thought or image of this freaks you out, I'm gonna warn you only once.
Okay.
It's not for you, because
Yay.
it's only gonna get worse from
Let's go.
now. Buckle up. Our first story starts with a tiny carpenter ant. In the early morning hours, around 5 to 6 a.m., she has found herself foraging on the forest floor. This is unfortunate. This has made her vulnerable to a cloud of microscopic spores that were just released nearby, and she's completely unaware of them. One of these spores makes contact with her exoskeleton, latches on, and drills to the inside of it.
Oof.
Undetected. Her first round of
Oh,
defense is no
microscopic,
match
yeah, it
for
would
this
be.
sly little spore. The
Wouldn't
ant goes about
necessarily
her
notice that.
business, completely unaware of the new alien inside of her body. For the next several days or weeks, she continues her ant duties, foraging for suitable meals for the colony, maintaining and expanding their nest, attending social events, as if nothing is wrong. And the other ants don't notice, despite their chemical defenses, which typically pick up on sick ants to kick them out of the colony, keep everything running smoothly. No. On the outside, everything is fine, and nobody knows anything. Meanwhile, the infection is spreading. The fungus feeds on the ant's insides and eventually wraps itself around the brain, still keeping it completely intact so it can continue its role as the control center.
And it
But
still doesn't know?
at some point, the fungus gets access and can now manipulate her muscles, and thus her movements, to its own benefit. This is when shit goes haywire. The ant has been possessed to feel the urge to leave the colony. She wanders around, convulsing, falling down, getting back up again. You would think that she is wasted. But no, you're not even looking at the movements of an ant anymore. You're looking at the movements of a demonic fungus with
Oh my
one goal:
God.
to spread. Eventually, the fungus manipulates the ant's body up to the underside of a twig or leaf, about 25 centimeters off the ground.
Yes.
Whatever's left of the ant as an entity is about to be obliterated. With a 0% chance of making it out, the ant bites into the plant material in the infamous death grip, ensuring its body will stay locked to the plant's underside long after the ant's inevitable demise. And then
He's
it
gonna die.
dies. But still,
Just dies.
the fungus is not yet done exploiting the ant's body. It continues eating away until, in a grand finale, the fungus sprouts out of the ant's head, finally making itself known to the outside world. And when the early morning comes again, it releases new spores into the air, in search of its next victim. And just like this last ant only weeks before, the next ant will not only be unaware of these tiny spores, but also oblivious that they have found themselves walking through a graveyard of their former colony members, previously infected by the fungus, and now suspended as corpses above the forest floor. This fungus is called Cordyceps unilateralis, or commonly known as the cordyceps fungus.
Yes.
Fossil evidence suggests
that
it's been
stuff
infecting these ants
I
for
knew
at least
about.
48 million years.
It's always like, even if I know about it, it's always like awful to sort of hear about it again. It's like, oh, right. Oh, yeah, I know. Ooh, yikes.
Found in tropical areas all over the world, and has a seemingly endless supply of bodies to infect.
Yeah,
but not without
billions
a
of ants.
because this insidious cordyceps fungus has its own predators, many of them belonging to their own kind. Yes,
Oh.
more fungus. One such is Nebiomyces coronatus, whose name means crown snowy fungus. It feeds on the tissues of the zombie ant fungus and covers them in a fuzzy white substance, hence the name crown snowy fungus. Nature is unforgiving, so nature can't heal. So that's the first one on our list. Before we go to the next one, I want to tell you about today's sponsor,
Oh,
Beast
this
War,
again.
the new Linked, an animal-themed strategy.
This one
mobile game
again.
that's all about the laws of the jungle. You can play.
I
as
literally
tons of
just
different
watched a
animals
Casual
to defend the
Geographic
territory.
video, and it was
Supremacy,
the
and compete with
exact
players
Beast
all
Lord
around the world.
also
What's really
sponsored
cool is you
him.
get to choose your own gameplay path as a lord. There are 3 distinct classes, each with their own unique playstyle and build it. First up, we got the Collector. Perfect for those who love to hoard resources and build up their empire. You'll be a beast of gathering and survival, with a special collector camp that grants you tons of resources. There's also the Invader. If you're interested in warfare and thievery, this one is for you. Your armies will be tough, quick to heal, and carry more loot when pillaging. Plus, you'll get an Invader camp that gives you an extra march slot with increased attack and defense. And last, we've got Developer, all about efficiency and building an empire. You'll get bonuses on food costs, honey production, and even trading perks. Your unique developer camp acts as a market for your allies. But that's not all. Beastlore features over 500
But wait,
animals
there's
that you can
more.
collect and train, including some mega beasts like T-Rex
Ooh,
and
that's cool.
Spinosaurus. You'll be battling it out in a realistic animal world, defending your territory.
Coral
and
snakes.
competing with
Those damn
players
snakes.
globally.
Those are
If you wanna
huge.
join the animal
Snakes
kingdom
v
and become
elephants. Who
Beastlaw
wins, babe?
yourself, click the link in the description and use code BL777 for some sweet bonuses to kickstart your journey. When you log in on the second day, you'll receive a gift, a Supreme Combat Hero, Lion, a melee hero perfect for beginner combat with unique leadership qualities. Check it out, let me know what you think. Thank you, Beastlore, for sponsoring this video. Now, on to the next zombie infection. And for
go.
this one, I want to put
Something
you in
new.
your shoes. This one is called Massospora. It infects cicadas, those insects that emerge in like the billions every year and make those inescapable, deafening
loud.
calls to find a mate. It's
So
literally
loud.
the only reason why they come up from the ground. They live in the ground for most of their lives as teenagers or nips. Come up, bang, lay eggs, dead. Different groups of cicadas spend different amounts of time in the ground. Some for a year, others 17 years. A long fucking time. Or other time intervals in between. 13, 7, all sorts of shit.
Science!
The ones that we're concerned with for this particular video belong to the genus Magicicada, which emerge from the
Ooh,
ground
pretty.
every 13 or 17 years, depending on the
Oh,
species.
so then recent
They get
ones.
infected by something so deviant. This is where our story begins.
Okay.
Close your eyes. Or not. Whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Our story
They're open
begins
again.
with you, a male cicada nymph. You've lived in the ground since you hatched for over a decade. You, along with the rest of your brood, are getting ready to emerge for the final stage of your life. As you're crawling your way through the soil, a tiny spore latches onto you. So small you don't even realize that it's there. It had been waiting
Once
for
again.
you since the day your egg was laid. The spore burrows into your tissues and starts to spread. This invisible seed has suddenly turned into a certified fungal infection. By the time you
Great.
make it to the sunlight, you are too far gone, and you don't even realize it. You have no idea that this infection is about to rip your abdomen off and
Ugh!
turn you bisexual.
No.
That's right, bitches. This is a bisexual zombie fungus. Let me explain. These cicadas have a very specific mating ritual. And the females have these very intricately timed dances. They flick their wings around to indicate to males that they're ready to mate. Infected males will respond to these dances and infect healthy females, as you would expect. Infected females will also attract healthy males with the mating dances and affect them that way, as you would
Okay.
expect. But on top of all of that, somehow, the fungus goes a bit further with the males and manipulates their movements to mimic the females' dances perfectly, attracting healthy males to mate, thus passing the infection through a third,
Oh,
unexpected
ways,
avenue.
okay.
Insidious business. I
Great.
know. And this means the infection is a step more complex. This is a bisexual, sexually transmitted zombie fungus. Keep in
Damn.
mind that at some point their abdomen was ripped off. Not open, but off.
Ugh.
Expose this white, fungal pluck, like the tip of a godforsaken eraser. At this point, the cicadas should be dead. They're literally ripped in half. But the fungus
They're
keeps
not
them barely
dead?
alive to spread their seed and manipulate them in any which way they want to. You're probably thinking, this sounds horrible. What a nightmare to imagine being in the shoes of these cicadas. And no need to fret, because
Okay.
there's another element to this infection to tell you about. Drugs. As the infection
doesn't
is
hurt them.
spreading in
Okay.
this stage, it releases a variety of substances into the cicada's body, depending on the species. For some, cathinone and amphetamine. For others, psilocybin, a classic case of magic mushrooms. They don't know which way is up, and it probably feels great. This means
Okay.
this is a bisexual,
That's something at least.
drug crazed, sexually transmitted, zombie fungus. I think I've painted quite a vivid picture of this infection.
Okay.
The reality is, it really only affects like 5 to 10% of a group, which, yes, in like millions or billions of individuals, that's a lot infected, but 5 to 10% nonetheless. They are mere pieces of what they used to be. So, needless to say, infected cicadas are sterile. This is where stage 2 of the infection comes into play, how it spreads to the next generation. Eventually, the infection produces the next stage of spores, which are not meant to be passed between adult mating cicadas, but instead fall to the ground and passively sink into the soil. The healthy cicadas that had no part in the drug-induced orgy lay their eggs, as planned, and die, as planned, leaving the next generation to continue on. They hatch, return to the soil as nymphs, just like their ancestors.
Oh, but now their
No
soil's
idea
got...
that those spores are waiting and ready to infect this
Ready
new
to go.
generation when
Okay.
they're prepared to
Interesting.
emerge 13 or 17 years from now. All right. How are we feeling? Maybe a few things.
That's okay.
Maybe horrified by the brutal yet creative shackles of population control done
At
by
least
Mother
that one
Nature.
doesn't seem
Maybe
like it
amazed
caused
as
them
well.
so much
Probably
pain.
mix of both. I have a few more to introduce you to.
I don't know
as
how
kind
much
of
pain
honorable
bugs
mentions.
feel.
The fungus ones are my personal favorites. Now, these ones are examples of other manipulative parasites that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Maybe that will
Ow.
serve as an inspiration for part 2 of this video, if that's something you sick freaks are interested in seeing. So, let's start off.
Stop calling me out,
Science
Lindsay.
calls them the disco zombie snails. Looks pretty cool on the outside and is just horrific on the inside.
Oh, good.
Obviously, the snail's eye stalks don't usually look like this.
No?
This is the result of the green-banded brood sac, a parasitic flatworm with a heinous objective.
I
This
mean,
story
flatworms are
starts
all
in the
awful.
digestive tract of a bird. Here lies the adult form of this parasite, which lays eggs, so to be released within the bird's shit, in hopes that they will be ingested by a snail. That's their business.
We listen and we don't judge.
Once inside a snail, the eggs hatch into a larval stage called
Anyone who says that with that sort of creepy chant, I don't believe them. I don't know who they are. I don't trust them.
sporocyst. The sporocyst then makes its way to the snail's eye stalks, where it forms a sac-like structure filled with larvae, known as a brood sac. This is when the disco begins. The brood sac pulsates with bright colors, usually green and brown bands.
Oh my God.
Hence the name, green-banded brood sac. These make the snail's eye stalk resemble a caterpillar, or a grub, i.e. a delicious meal to none other than a bird. This zombie brood sac will also manipulate the behaviors of the snail, dragging them to higher ground to serve them on a platter. The bird pecks at the infected eye stalk, mistaking it for prey, and ingests the parasitic larvae, which then make their way through the digestive tract and turn into adults. So the process can begin again. The last
hate
one on our
that.
list is
That
a bit
sounds
different.
awful.
So far, we've talked about the parasites that turn invertebrates into zombies. This next one is a vertebrate, none other than a rat. Yes.
Uh-oh.
Zombie rats.
Uh-oh.
The parasite in question is called Toxoplasma gondii. It's a type of single-celled organism called a protozoa. Despite their appearance, protozoans are not bacteria. Their single cell is a eukaryotic cell, which are the kinds of cells we have, other animals have, and plants and fungi have. It just so happens that there are 3 categories that you can put every form of life on Earth into. They're called domains. It's
okay.
bacteria, archaea, and eukaryota. Bacteria and archaea.
Is that why like fungus is difficult? Because they're like, we don't know what it is. Like fungus is one of those things that is like, is it alive? Is it dead? I don't know. It's a fungus.
Are made of prokaryotic cells, which are super simple cells. Eukaryota are made of eukaryotic cells, which are super complex cells. You probably remember this from 6th grade bio, all the different
Vaguely.
organelles. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. That is a eukaryotic cell. Plants, fungi, animals have it. And also protozoans. Protozoans are single, free-living eukaryotic cells. And sometimes they are heinous. This story starts in the intestines of a cat. Protozoan reproduces, releasing infectious seeds into the cat's shit. Somehow,
Okay.
in some fashion, those seeds get ingested by a grazing rat and start to
Gross.
form tissue cysts, especially in the rat's brain.
Don't eat
These
shit,
alter
folks.
the behavior of the rat, making them less fearful of cats. Also, rats have a natural aversion to cat urine. They smell cat pee and stay away. This parasite fucks all of that up. Cat piss no problem to the rat. Matter of fact, they're interested, which obviously makes them much more likely to be eaten by a cat. So the process can begin. Again, you might have heard of this one before because the infection is commonly known as toxoplasmosis because it can infect other rodents
That
and
sounds
pretty much
familiar.
all other mammals, possibly other animals as well, including humans. But do not fret. This does not mean your cat is a threat to you. As long as your cats aren't eating infected rodents, they're fine. They should be inside anyway, because they're killing all the birds. Toxoplasmosis is one of those infections you can get from eating undercooked meat or drinking water from a questionable
That's why I
water
think I've heard of
source.
it.
So,
Okay.
this should not be life-altering information. Everything is business as usual.
And what does it do if it gets into a person? Does it make a person just be like, cat piss smells good?
On that note, I hope you liked this video. If you did, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode of the
Or does
history
it just
of
make
life
them
on Earth
sick?
that we know of. Thank you, Beasler, for sponsoring this video. Check out the sweet deal and the link in the description. Check out my Patreon for behind-the-scenes updates on our Discord server. And for now, stay curious. The world has a lot for us to learn. See ya!
Bye! All right. Great. Okay, I definitely thought that was going to be a lot worse than it was when she started to really talk about it. I was like, oh god, no. The worms video was worse, I think, for me. Ugh. But I have listened to a lot of Sawbones, and they've talked a lot about parasites and stuff on that show. So I think maybe I was a little bit primed to be less horrified, if that makes sense. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this animal content. I will be continuing with a bunch of music and stuff. I know that people want me to watch the new Epica video. I just did one Epica. They want me to do another one. There's a new Nightwish one people are looking for me to do. So, I'll go back to my roots on the music on this channel. I'll be working with some of that. Anything else that you would like me to go ahead and watch? Thank you for letting me know. This particular video was suggested by a channel member, Pterodactylus, so thank you so much for suggesting this. And also just keep suggesting videos. I really appreciate it. It very much helps me, especially figuring out what Kit's gonna watch. So thank you, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.